According to AI, this is the very best fantasy Premier League team that you can have for game week 1. Today, I'm joined by FPL expert, the big man himself, Bakar, to dissect this team. Bakar, how are you doing? I'm really interested to see your thoughts on the team that the Fantasy Football Hub's algorithm have picked.
Thanks for having me, Jack. Hello and welcome to all the listeners and viewers. It's great to be back. Yeah, I can't wait to actually dive straight into it because, often, Jack, we tend to come across our own biases and get influenced by the template. So it's actually nice to have this unbiased opinion of an algorithm which does not take these kind of opinions into account to see where we stand as regarding the merit of the picks.
So here is the team. It's on screen right now. A couple of really, well, I guess strange, but also, are we missing out on these players? Is what I'm thinking off the bat. Bakar, we're going to get your opinion on every single one of these players. But before we do that, I just need to tell you all about Fantasy Football Hub and the AI specifically. This team is constantly evolving. When we get injuries, news, transfers, results, form, anything, the algorithm knows, the AI knows, and it's constantly evolving. If you would like to see the team up to date to the minute when you're watching this video, whenever you're watching this video, or across the season, the link to do so is down below. For now, Bakar, let's get your thoughts on Steele in goal. No Onana, Steele at 4.5 million.
It's an interesting choice because when you look at Brighton and when you look at their defense, Stupinan is the first name who comes up. So I guess a lot of managers would be reluctant to double up on the defense, especially those who have Matoma, because then you're tripling up on the whole team. But I like Steele as a pick in isolation because time and again last season we saw that he was passing the 30 pluses threshold for accumulating bonus, and he did so with quite a number of times, actually, with a lot of frequency. And the fact that he was actually getting 80 to 90% pass completion was helping him in the bonus accumulation as well. So I think Steele is a good pick. He will make saves. Brighton have a decent defense, and at 4.5, there were initially thoughts that Verbruggen could come in, but Steele was playing in the friendlies. He played really well, got an assist, so I think he's a good pick.
Okay, now you mentioned Estupiñán. Estupiñán is in this team, so it's a Brighton double up, along with Gabriel and Stones, who, I mean, Gabriel and Estupiñán are in the majority of teams that we see, for good reason, right? I don't think we need to talk about them too much. Stones isn't in every team, but he completes the defence here. It's a 3-man defence, which means no Chilwell, who's in a lot of teams, and also no Trent. So out of those three, who do you kind of prefer in general? And why do you think the algorithm, the AI, has gone for Stones?
It's gone with Stones because it believes that City have the best defense, as simple as that. And I am one who goes for upside in general, so I like Chilwell and Trent more. But I think Stones is an equally good pick because when you consider the level of the team he's playing in, City's opening fixtures, and see the fact that he's also often inverting in midfield. He's playing in midfield and he's getting high up the field. In fact, I was listening to a post-match interview of his after a friendly, and he did say that he loves going forward, and this new formation is giving him the flexibility to do so. So I like Stones at 5.5 million, but one thing that the AI I don't think yet has factored in is that Guardiola is 5 million, and that could actually throw a spanner in the works, because I think that's a very good price for him as well. And considering the fact that City spent 90 odd million on him, I do think he's going to start playing sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, minutes there are probably the reason why he's not in the AI team now, because we just obviously haven't seen him play. No idea if he's going to come straight into the team. But as you said, for that price, it seems kind of ludicrous that he wouldn't get a starting berth at some point soon. So yeah, that is the defense. The difference recently has been that Edison has come out of this team. So it's gone away from the double City defense and Steele's come in. So a little bit more money than being spent further up the field on the midfield. Now, 2 players that we've seen, I guess 3 players actually that we've seen in this team for a long time are Saka, of course, in your team, Bakar, and then the double up with Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. I guess when you see players like this in the AI team, does it kind of make you feel good about your picks because they've been in a lot of your drafts especially, and they are very solid picks anyway, and the algorithm just kind of backs that up?
It's always reassuring to see your picks being selected by the AI as well. And the good thing is that with this new rule in play now, that the injury time will be added by the Premier League, will reflect the actual amount of time that has been lost. This actually works in the hand of those players who are nailed and will play 9,500 minutes. For example, Rashford falls in that category. Bruno falls in that category. Saka also falls in that category. It further strengthens their appeal, and it's no surprise to see the AI agree with that.
Absolutely. And one man who is also good for minutes in general is Odegaard. Now, I want to get your thoughts on Odegaard v Martinelli. Odegaard is in this team, obviously 0.5 million more, but do you think his minutes are more secure? And is that perhaps the reason why he's in the team?
Yes, I think it's generally with algorithms, you tend to see that those players who are nailed and those players who are on penalties will get the nod over those who are likely to be subbed early. And Martinelli does fall in that category, even though I do believe he's first choice and his goal threat is far and above Odegaard's. Odegaard, because of his bonus accumulation, the chances that he creates, is likely to fare better than him in the algorithm. Having said that, personally, in my view, I find it very hard to pick between them, especially considering that Martinelli is 0.5 cheaper. So currently, I am favoring Martinelli, but it's not an opinion I'm convinced on because, again, with Trossard, Havertz, I'm not entirely sure whether Martinelli is completely nailed. I mean, I expect him to start, but you never know. The early subs, Trossard's been really good in the friendly as well. So let's say if Trossard does really well or Havertz does really well, Martinelli could become a problem.
Absolutely. I mean, Havertz looked good in the Community Shield, to be fair, despite missing a couple of big chances. He did play well. Okay, final player in the midfield. You've already mentioned him. It is Kaoru Mitoma. I think the 6.5 million bracket has been one that's been pretty contentious throughout preseason. We started on Mitoma. Then everyone seemed to sort of migrate towards Bryan Mbeumo. Maybe people are still on him. I'm not entirely sure. I went to see Brentford's most recent friendly where he got injured. And I will say, even before the injury, the team didn't look great. They didn't play that well in that game. And yeah, only saw half an hour of him. We're yet to see if he's going to be fit for the start of the season. He was on set pieces, though. I will say that. That was interesting. But yeah, Mitoma's in the AI team. And Burmo's not, Eze's not, for example. Why do you think the AI has gone for Mitoma?
This is the one thing that really, really surprised me because I would have expected Bumo being the penalty taker and the set piece taker and completely nailed for minutes. I would have thought he would fare better than Mitoma. It's a very tough call. And if you ask me if I was to pick one, I would slightly lean towards Bumo simply because his numbers in Tony's absence have been frankly ludicrous. I mean, in the 4 matches that Tony missed last season, Bumo was top for big chances, shots in the box, chances created, XG, XGI among all Brentford players, and the fact that Brentford have 3 of their opening 4 fixtures at home. I mean, even the first game against Spurs, I really like it because given how the new manager is playing, it's gung-ho football, and that should suit Brentford. So I really like Puma as an option, and I think he could do well in the times to come. But Toma, I mean, Brighton are a very exciting side. Their numbers were incredible since Zerbi took over. Mitoma is their most nailed player. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad pick, but at the moment, I slightly prefer Boom over him. But both of them have their own merits. I like both of them as options.
It's one of the Luton at home first fixture is so enticing. I know it's only one fixture, but to start the season off, Luton at home, it doesn't get any better than that from an attacking perspective. So it's just such a juicy fixture. I don't know. I think that's one that's going to go down to the wire between, pretty much all the players in the 6.5. But yeah, especially Mitoma and Mbeumo. Now let's move on to the forwards. Of course, Haaland is in. He's the captain. I can't be bothered to talk about him. He's obvious. Statistically, he hits every metric. We all know this. That's why he's in the team. The second striker is the most contentious of this entire team by a mile. Right now, it's Callum Wilson. What do you think about that?
No, I don't agree with the opinion of the algorithm because I don't like Newcastle's fixtures. I mean, Villa, City, Liverpool, Brighton are their first 4, and they aren't easy by any stretch of the imagination. And the fact that in preseason, Eddie Howe was sort of rotating between Isak and Wilson. It was very rare to see both of them on the field at one point in time. So it was either one or the other, which means that whoever starts between the two is likely to get subbed off early. So this is not for me, and I don't agree with the algorithm's opinion.
And that is completely fair enough. I guess, as you said at the start, you don't have to go with the algorithm, or just because it suggests players that are different to the ones that you have or the same doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just food for thought. Yeah, I don't really agree either. I feel like with Isak in there, the minutes are just not as secure as perhaps the algorithm thinks. For example, it's saying 5.3 predicted points for Villa, 5.5 for Liverpool at home. If he doesn't play in those games, obviously not going to score. And who knows? He may just come off the bench for 20, 30 minutes if he can't nail down a starting spot. So if it wasn't Wilson, who do you think is the next best option in that price bracket? Or who's going to be in your team as it stands right now?
I think Watkins is the clear favorite. I mean, there are only 2 forwards that I really like at the moment, other than Haaland, and they're Watkins and Pedro. But at the moment, I prefer Watkins for what he brings. He's an easy downgrade if need be. Let's say if Nkunku becomes an option by game week 2 or 3, Watkins is an easy downgrade. And the fact that Watkins has scored 4 goals in preseason and how well he's done under Unai Emery. I mean, under Unai Emery, only Kane and Haaland have scored more goals, and more FPL points. So that's how well Watkins has fared. I mean, only Kane and Haaland are beating him in underlying metrics as well, such as XG, XGI. So, I mean, Watkins has really come of age since the Unai Emery signing, and I think he will do really well.
Okay, and there we go. For now, that is the AI team. And as I said, this is constantly evolving with news, and pretty much any little piece of information that could possibly change this does change it. Everything is factored into this. And as Bakar said, throughout the video, it's an unbiased tool that just gives you a sort of indication as to players that an algorithm and the stats might suggest are the best players. As Bakar said, he doesn't like the Wilson pick. Absolutely fine. But I guess it is some food for thought. Now, the brilliance of this tool is that it does keep evolving, as I keep saying. I think it's brilliant that one day it suggests these players, then new information comes about and it suggests new players that may be very close. I mean, I'm sure Watkins in predicted points is very close to Wilson anyway. Who knows? This team may change before Game Week 1 deadline. And if you want to continue to have a look at this team whenever you fancy, then the link to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub is down below. Right now, if you sign up in preseason before Game Week 1, you get 50% off. And if you do not win your mini league, you get all your money refunded to you. That is how confident the guys at the Hub are in their site, in tools like this that just help you out and give you a different perspective on the game. Bakar, that is going to do it for the AI team. Will you be looking at it throughout the season? Will you be listening to what it says, or will you be being a maverick and doing what you want?
I won't exactly be listening to it blindly, but I will definitely be using it for transfer suggestions, because quite often you sort of get fixated on the template moves, and you often want a balanced opinion. And for that, I think the My Team tool is really, really helpful, and I will use it throughout the season.
So there we go. One last push, guys. It's worth it. Trust me. Down below, the link is in the description. Only got a few days left now to sign up to get 50% off and have AI recommended transfers and have a look at this best team throughout the entire season. Bakar, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next video.